Alexander Champlin joins us now. He's a senior analyst of esports research and special topics of Niko Partners, a research and consulting firm covering the Asia Games market. And Alexander, I want to get your thoughts on some of these numbers. They seem very impressive. $20 billion in revenue during the first 6 months. Seems like a lot of dough.
It is, yeah. So first of all, Mike, thanks for having us. It's been a good year for China. We're seeing domestic game approvals return to a regular cadence. And we're seeing, publishers and players kind of adjust to the youth regulations that were introduced a few years ago. And so there's, some health kind of returning to the Chinese games industry. And this, of course, is helped by, this new wave of approvals. There were 88 new titles approved just at the end of this last month. And so that just, that means, new content in the water, new things for players to explore, and that's really kind of driving the excitement here.
Yeah, Alexander, I'm glad you brought up the youth regulations, because I'd forgotten about that. We covered it quite a bit, and there was a lot of concern about what kind of impact that would have. What are we seeing with it?
Yeah, I mean, those regulations are still in place, and with a lot of things, it's really just a matter of people kind of figuring out how they work and adjusting their play styles or their, kind of publishing strategies to account for those new regulations. And, now they've been in place for long enough that people really kind of know what they mean. And, and I think the games industry has adjusted and, and is moving forward. And, this is kind of coincides with a kind of healthy regulatory environment that's approving a lot of new content. So 88 new titles this last month. What we're seeing in 2023 is set to seriously surpass what we saw in 2022. So, things are looking up, certainly.
And also, as you talk about things looking up, there seems to be growing excitement surrounding esports ahead of the upcoming Asian Games in Hangzhou. It's the first, it's a major milestone because esports will be included in the medal competition for the very first time. What does that do for excitement and also for a sense of legitimacy?
Absolutely, it's going to be great. So the games were postponed. So we've had a long kind of build up to to this event. This is going to be the largest OCA, Olympic Council of Asia, sanctioned event to feature esports as a medal title. And so what we've seen in kind of other iterations, including the Southeast Asian Games, which have featured esports now for several years, is that this creates a lot of excitement about esports, and it also coincides with a lot of investment in the esports ecosystem. And so China, like all of the other countries that are going to be participating in these games, are quickly getting together their teams and coaches that they're going to be sending to to represent them at these games. And so this is seeing investment kind of pour in, as well as attention and excitement as those teams are named and selected.
And Alexander, talk to me about the employment outlook. We were talking about the numbers, which seem like quite a bit. I think they're saying somewhere short 1.5 million qualified professionals. I guess if you're interested in this field right now is a good time to jump in, right?
It's a great time, and particularly in China. What kind of sets China apart compared to we think of esports in the West and even esports in Asia is that they've really developed a healthy local esports ecosystem. And so there's a lot of excitement around esports that kind of starts at the local level and builds up to a national level. And so there's just there's more opportunities there. And what's kind of particularly important right now is that we're seeing the esports ecosystem in China return to in-person events. And so for a long time, esports were taking place in mostly kind of hybrid formats, and this in-person sort of move is meaning that there's a lot more opportunity for people to work in the sort of behind the scenes part of the esports industry, including team management, event management, promotion, and of course production. And so there's a huge opportunity here, and China's really leading the way in terms of what a developed and mature esports ecosystem can look like.
Must be a very fun time to be following the golden age of esports. Alexander, thanks so much for offering your insights tonight. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for having us.